Well, looking some more at some mind training slogans from the Great Path of Awakening, and thinking about the context of the extreme suffering going on in the world, of course, including in Newtown, Connecticut, but so many places in the world. And just noticing how much I can get a discouraged mind, and I don't think I'm the only one. Venerable Chinese BBC yesterday, I really recommend if you want to have a really good way to look at this and carry it forward. And I want to kind of continue a little bit with that theme today about how do we meet these really, really difficult situations with our own minds and hearts, and rather than adding to the suffering of the world, how do we help alleviate it? So I'm looking at this mind training slogan called, "Whichever of two occurs, be patient." So what this is referring to is whether you think your circumstances are very, very good, or whether you come on to a lot of suffering, you bring this same Dharma mind of patience forward. Patience, one of the definitions of that is the ability to remain calm no matter what the circumstances are. So this calm isn't this kind of depressed sleepiness, it's a peaceful mind that's available, let's say, to everyone. So here's the commentary on this: whichever of two occurs, be patient. If you become utterly destitute and are suffering greatly, consider your previous karma. So this points us to why, the whys, which is always what we raise up. Why this suffering? Why this suffering? And if we're going to take a Buddhist worldview and take it onto the path, then we need to look at, there's causes for these things. They're not random violence. This is the phrase these days, random violence. Even the news people use that, but it's not random. There are causes and conditions for this. The suffering minds of all of us and those involved, more particularly, that's the particular suffering. And it's not a punishment. We have to be very, very clear about that and get away from our sometimes Judeo-Christian spin on this. Oh, someone's being punished. It's not like that. It's just causes are created, and then this is the results that are going to come from those causes. If we plant carrot seeds, we'll get carrots. If we plant, we won't get something else. So there's no blame and there's no punishment. It's just we need to understand the situation and then head in, set our new direction. So consider previous karma. Don't be resentful or depressed. Take up all the sufferings of others and work hard at ways to clear away these suffering actions and obscurations. So again, this is a reference to Tonglen. Take it on. Things are difficult, then you take on the suffering. In your imagination, you really relieve everyone, those parents who lost their children, the teachers, the brother of the young man who killed people. You really sit and just imagine how kind they've been to you, and that you are connected to them and you want them relieved from that suffering. We do this really to strengthen our own minds, to begin to have minds and hearts that could imagine holding this and relieving someone, and then becoming very skillful to actually be able to do it someday. So that's on the side of suffering. But also, if you find yourself very happy, comfortable, surrounded by wealth, don't succumb to carelessness or indifference. And this is what happens. I mean, we don't even have to get surrounded by wealth. We just get a nice lunch, and everybody's suffering's out of my mind. I'm just like, I'm eating, spaghetti and having a great time. So if even in our minds we can just for a moment think, may I give this away to somebody who's not going to be able to eat today, or who doesn't know where their meal will come tomorrow, may I be able to just give this. And even that thought can open your heart and make even the common things we enjoy meaningful. So it's just that we forget over and over. I've started to get a habit of something Venerable Chitran told us long ago. I just hated to go into shopping malls or any kind of store. But now I walk in and I just say, oh, may I just offer this whole mandala to those who are in need, to the Buddha, and it really makes it so much easier to be in there. So anytime you're in pleasant circumstances, looking out at a beautiful landscape like we are today, just covered with snow, may this be something that appears for those in prison, those in old folks' homes who aren't even having fresh air or even a window. You know, may they have this beautiful landscape to look at. So always giving away when it's pleasant, always taking on when there's great suffering. So that's what Venerable talked about too in her commentary on mind training, like Grace of the Sun, on this verse, you know, just use Tonklin, giving away what's pleasant, taking in what's not. So then this morning we got an email from our wonderful friend Jonathan Owen. He used to live here at the Abbey, and he wrote some thoughts about the tragedy in Connecticut. And it's quite a long piece, but I'm just going to read his first and last paragraphs. And I won't be able to read the last one without crying, so you'll just have to put up with that. But it's just, you know, feelings come, go. But what he wrote really touched my heart. So he was doing just what the verse says. He was trying to take the situation directly on to the Buddhist path. So he looked around and he said, oh, okay, here's how he starts. Today, I recall these words of the Dalai Lama, quote, violence does not accord with our basic human nature. Isn't that so comforting? It does not accord with our basic human nature, which may lead you to wonder why all sorts of violence becomes news and compassionate acts seldom do. And get this, oh, there's so much clarity in this. The reason is that violence is shocking because it's not in conformity with our basic human nature. Isn't that lovely? It's so opposite. Instead of looking at this and going, oh my God, people are just horrible and they're just evil, he looks at it and says, that's not in accord with our basic human nature. Our basic human nature is basically compassionate, peaceful. He says we take compassionate acts for granted because they're closer to our nature. Isn't that just a wonderful spin on it? So Jonathan went through kind of doing but applying a non-violent communication style to his own needs and feelings. And today, and then he ends it with this paragraph. Today,
Would you like me for somebody to read it?
I think I can do it. Okay. Oh, I can't do it. You read it. Yeah. Just the last paragraph here. Please sit down. Yeah, I'll just cry. I'll cry while you read it.
Today, a broken heart, broken but fused together with a billion other broken hearts, whirling a stunning display of love into perpetual orbit around our bowed heads. This open, sensitive, courageous heart, I'll be looking around today with a keen eye to see about the truth of the Dalai Lama's statement that compassion is our basic human nature. To Jonathan, thank you.